All right, so I really didn't want to make this video, but then the more I thought about it, the more I saw what was going on. I said, I'm going to go ahead and weigh in. And, my fear is that by making this video, I will lose subscribers. And I suppose if anybody unsubscribes for what they hear in this video, more power to you. So by now, pretty much everybody within the sound of my voice knows about the whole Dingergate. Okay, so what a mess. So look, I completely get it. We've all been there. I can first off understand how watching the game, you hear what was said, and you're like, what was that? And of course, the announcer immediately, apologized for it and everything like that. So he thought he heard what he thought he heard. I get that. I get it, right? Obviously, the idea that somebody would just start doing that at a baseball game is pretty shocking, no matter what you believe, right? So I wake up this morning and I mean, the world is burning down. We're burning it down ourselves. People have completely lost the ability to see straight. Either way, the extremes on both sides of the coin have just completely gone Cocoa Puffs. And so it comes out that you can see this guy pointing. First he points and he says something to the woman he's with, and then he points again and he starts yelling for the mascot, Dinger. All right. Now, and it's at that point that I see the reactions that I'm incredulous about. Now, we already saw, I've seen a ton of reactions initially, of course it has to immediately turn political, right? This is Trump's America. This is the Republicans. This is the GOP. This is what they did. Look, they're so, they just feel so comfortable just going to a baseball game and yelling this out. Look at where we are. Cocoa Puffs. Cocoa Puffs. Okay? Now, again, I can understand if somebody without context sees that, it gets shared and say, hey, look, man, look at what happened. I can see how somebody might want to pop out and say, hey, this is terrible. This is awful. Of course, nobody really added in the if it happened thing, right? Everybody has to immediately score points with whatever side they're on and just completely throw somebody under the bus without doing any investigation, including the Rockies. And here's the part. The team puts out a statement apologizing for the terrible language before they even investigated whether or not that's what actually happened. Before the investigation. And this is the part where we have reached the point of no return as a society. We no longer have a functioning society. If we think it, that's it. If somebody on social media says it, that's it. There's no investigating. There's no benefit of the doubt. There's no asking the person what happened. There's just look at their race, look at their gender, figure out what side you think they're on, and throw that entire side under the bus on social media. And unfortunately, regardless of what side you're on, you're going to get a positive reaction from those people who are going to say, yeah, it's those stupid Trump people. Yeah, it's those stupid liberals. Everybody's stupid. How about that? All right? Let's just throw ourselves all under the bus because in one way or another, we all participate in this. So, I get it. I get that people think they heard what they heard. Now, of course, at the timing of this, I'm filming this, what is it, about what it's 2:25. Last time I looked about an hour ago, the Rockies had still not issued a clarification or anything, even though media people said they talked to the Rockies and they know that he was just calling for Dinger. Now, the bigger problem is people are so programmed with hate right now. People are so programmed with hate right now that even though it is obvious to anybody with a functioning brain cell left that if you watch the video, you can see him pointing at the mascot and then yelling for the mascot. Even though that is out there, there's still people saying, I don't believe it, I think he used the N-word. And the problem with those people is that we have to function as a society with those people having a say equal to the rest of us who are just trying to get through life without blowing up the planet. These people vote, okay? Despite the fact that it's abundantly clear that this man was calling for the mascot, in these people's heads, there are two options. Either this man went to a baseball game, saw the mascot, and started yelling, "Hey, Dinger! Hey, Dinger!" Of course, I don't think he was saying hey, so I'm adding that in. But this man either went to the game and started yelling the mascot's name, or he just decided, like David Duke with Tourette's, to get drunk at the baseball game and start using the N-word in the direction of the mascot whose name rhymes with the N-word and not at the direction of the guy at the plate. What has to be going on in your head to see the evidence in front of you and still be either A, unable to see it, or B, the worst part, unwilling to just say, you know what, my bad. My bad, I got it wrong. I missed it. I messed it up. I got it wrong. This is where we are as a society, and it's only going to continue to get worse because nobody will just admit that they got it wrong. And hardly anybody, if people are afraid to just, like I was afraid to make this video because I know there's going to be thumbs down. I know there's going to be at least one or two people that are going to somehow say that I'm sticking up for a racist, when anybody with a half of a brain cell left that hasn't been completely programmed by fear can see that the guy was calling for the mascot. But unfortunately, for the rest of us who still have our cognitive abilities about us, we are allowing the extremes on either side to run the friggin' show. We are allowing the nut jobs on either side of the aisle to run the show while the rest of us sit here and scream and point fingers and say, well, what are we going to do? And what are we going to do? How long will anybody continue to tolerate this? Is anybody, I want one person, give me one, just give me one. One person who called this guy out for using the racial slur at the game and calling it out and blaming Trump people. Give me one person with enough cojones to come back and say, all right, that didn't happen, I got it wrong. Show me. Show me who's got the guts to say that. Because I'm going to get killed for this. I'll probably lose subscribers. I might gain a couple more. But there are going to be people so turned off and pissed off by me just calling it like I see it that I will probably lose supporters just for this. Just for expressing what everybody who is not on the extreme is already thinking. Now, I've also seen somebody bring up the point where, well, you know, this is what a certain segment of our population does. When they get it wrong, rather than saying, I got it wrong, they say, well, this just speaks to the idea of how real racism is really out there and how everybody's on edge against it. I'm not saying real racism doesn't exist, okay? But we're not on edge because of what we're witnessing for the most part. We're on edge because people are being programmed by the media to be on edge. Nobody can take a half a second. We're so worried about being by being first with the damn story on social media that nobody cares about getting it right. And as soon as something comes out, it's immediately divided. And I would like to ask the question of all these people that are calling this a racist Trumper, look in the mirror. Because the only reason that you're saying he's a Trumper is because he's an older, white, heavy-set male. Which I thought the whole point of it was not to look at people's gender and skin color and make a blanket judgment about them. I'm sorry, I thought that was the whole point. I thought the whole point was that if I see somebody of an opposite skin color walking towards me, to not make assumptions about them. Correct me if I'm wrong. These people, you guys are becoming, and I say you, what I mean by you guys is people who cannot see that this is not racism. You're becoming what you propose to hate. You are becoming exactly what you were fighting against, if you're fighting against it at all. Or is it just all politics? Is it just anything that could be possibly misconstrued or contrived to make a certain segment of the population look bad, and just throw it out there and see what sticks? And if you get it wrong, you don't even bother admitting that you got it wrong. And it needs to stop. Somehow, some way, there needs to be more than a half dozen people like myself who just can see both sides of it and realize that everybody on the extremes of either side has completely lost their mind. The idea that it's more likely that somebody just decided at a baseball game to start screaming the N-word, that's more likely than he's looking at the mascot and calling out the guy's name, which rhymes with the N-word. We've got people trying to listen to the audio and what am I hearing? What am I hearing? Look at what you're seeing. Use your eyes. Use just a little bit of common sense that might be left after you've blasted your brain with media and social media all day long. You're not thinking clearly. You're not thinking for yourself. Nobody that is clearly thinking for themselves and taking into consideration what actually happened can look at that video and still say that he used the N-word. Now, I get the point. It kind of sounds like it at the beginning. If you missed it at the beginning, fine. But come to terms with the fact that you got it wrong. And why not be happy about it? Why do we have to turn it into, well, this shows how terrified people are? Baloney. It shows how programmed people are. Most of us are not walking around with that kind of hate in our mind. But the media wants to convince you that we are, and that's the point. That is the point. You've been programmed to believe that this is actually what's happening out there. And am I saying it never happens? No, of course not. But the idea that he was using that word and nobody in the stands moves, nobody blinks. And some of you people still think he used it even though the frickin' mascot is right there? You need help. You seriously, at this point, if you can watch that video and not see that he's calling for the mascot, I say this with all empathy and sympathy, you seriously need therapeutic help to undo the hate that has taken over your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul. If you cannot watch that video at this point and see that he's calling for the mascot, please, and I'm being serious, you need serious help. You're not seeing the reality that the rest of the world is seeing. You're being polluted by hate. And I would seriously take a look at what you're incoming. What are you watching? What are you ingesting that has got you to the point where you can't see any reality other than hate and racism? It's past time for the middle to stand up. The hell with the extreme left and the hell with the extreme right. The middle is allowing the extremes to run the show. Somebody has to stand up, and I guess if it's going to be me, it'll have to be me. The frickin' hockey guy with the puppets will have to come on and be the only one that talks some sanity into you people. And When I say you people, I'm talking about the extremes, not the middle, not the people that are agreeing with me. But if you still think that this man was just standing at a baseball game yelling the N-word, you're Cocoa Puffs. You're Cocoa Puffs, and you need help. Let's see how many subscribers I have left after that.